Hello, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. How you doing? It's the Major Show that care, and I'm live. Today's Sunday to speak on another interesting topic: the popular culture and African ideals. The popular culture and African ideals. I have my brilliant guests on board. Let me just bring them on board. But before I bring them on board, let me just react to two things before I answer. I can see your request. I will accept. Just give me 2 minutes, then I would accept. First, I have a very good news to announce. Oniluwa goes to stage. Finally, my play goes to stage. It will be staged in Unilag on the 5th of June. I will communicate all details to you very soon. And the project lead of Oniluwa, congratulations to you, Mrs. Victoria Nancy. She won an AMVC award yesterday. She also once won an AMVC award in 2023. So you should know what to expect. I posted it boldly last year, boldly. And with the backing of the word of the Lord, which says that ye shall decree a thing and it shall be established. And yeah, so it's success already. This is not we bragging in flesh. We're bragging in the name of the Lord. Because when David faced that giant called Goliath, and the giant made a lot of, statement towards him and blah, blah. David said, no, you came with me with all these things, but I come to you in the name of the Lord. So we as children of the Lord, we have to be bold in our expression in this world right now. So I'm just encouraging someone out there, be bold to speak life into your dream. Stop looking at the circumstances right now. All odds might be against you, but God can part that Red Sea for you. You understand? So Oniluwa goes to stage 5th of June. And it is spearheaded. The project lead is Mrs. Victoria Nancy, who has won the AMVCA award 2 times. That's a bragging right. That is something for you to expect. Top-notch professionalism. And need I say that this woman, I'm still going to give you a portfolio, upload that later. I've been very busy. I'm like, my whole team knows I'm very busy, too busy. But the thing is, you have to just keep up with the pace of what God has committed to you. And one of it is the street and cathedral. The Lord bring meaningful things out of things that seems to be, ununderstandable by human beings. And it's written, he said, I'll make the foolish things of this world to conform the wise. So sometimes it's not conforming to the status quo that God is actually interested. Sometimes he just make those disruptors actually be the big deal in the long run. So watch out for Oniluwa, 5th of June, Unilag, Lagos. It's going to be superb. I promise you, it's a top-notch movie, and that is the beginning of something significant. We have a long way to go when it comes to staging. Secondly, I just want to react quickly before I bring my guest on board. And this is the whole saga going on as regards people. You see, there is a culture that we are trying to change right now. And I'm privileged to have listened to the voice of God by starting the street and cathedral. That is the, salvaging the outrage porn that we experience on social media. When I mean outrage porn, I hope you understand well that word. I'm not talking about pornography. This culture of bashing, pulling down, abusing, dragging. I'm just going to summarize it. I'll say it in Yoruba, then I'll have to translate to English. One striking thing that amazes me and amuses me on this thing called internet is Yoruba lọ wọ́n bọ̀ torí èmi mo ka ìwé mo tún ka ọgbọ́n mo bá àwọn àgbà jókòó mo fọwọ́ wẹwọ́ mo tún bá àwọn gungi kọjá ewé mo mọ ìtumọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ mo mọ ìtumọ̀ ìṣesí. Wọ́n ní wípé ẹ̀sìn alátọ̀tọ̀ kò sí lọ́wọ́ òkòbó ẹ̀sìn alátọ̀tọ̀ or alátọ̀sí kò sí lọ́wọ́ olókòbó. Let me explain what that means in English. The insult, the insult or the shame or the disgracing or however you put it, the insult of someone who suffers from gonorrhea should not be done by the impotent one. So because in the real sense, the translation is it's as plain as that because we all know that for you to have a gonorrhea, it is actually your being active, sexually activeness that led you to, have such a infection, and your virility led you to that. So an impotent man is not supposed to be laughing at you, and that's what we find on social media right now. People who have nothing they can answer for their life, they have nothing except from just having data and following and clicking likes. And these are the people that will now start telling, oh, this is how Whiskey is supposed to live his life. Oh, this is how Dimeji is supposed to. These are... Anyways, let me just accept my guest, and I just hope you join. You join the wise ones. You join. You come sit us. You come sit with us. It's going to be an interesting, deep one. And I can see people joining already. Big shout out to you. Big shout out to you wherever you're joining. Big shout out to you. I have interesting and amazing, brilliant, friends that are going to be joining very soon. I want you to just click on the first icon you find, request to join this video, then I'll accept. You just pop up and that's it. The popular culture versus African ideals. The popular culture versus African ideals. Hey, my brother, how you doing, man?
My big good there.
Hey, my Scotland brother. How you doing?
Is it the two of us from
No.
Scotland, or you talking?
This my brother is from Belfast. You are from Scotland. So I have someone that is going to join from Canada soon too. Now we are complete. Ashley.
Hello.
Ashley the gold. Let me run down through the introduction real quick so we jump into the art of the conversation. Because I know you guys are very, very busy and serious people. But that being said, let me first appreciate three of you. You guys are amazing. Our paths have crossed, and I'm so blessed to call you my friends. To be quite honest with you, even Mr. Mathews Akindele is, of course, obviously an elder person to me, but it's a privilege and an honor to find everybody here, and we're still trying to push the positive narrative where we found ourselves. So let me start the introduction based on punctuality, and I'll start with Mr. Fidelis Kohe. Fidelis, my brother.
Yeah.
This will make me want to bring out this kind of conversation that I still do not believe that there's a difference between being a Benin person or Edo from Yoruba. So I mean, Fidelis would make me to accept that because ever since we've connected here in Belfast, we've connected on the pedestal of intelligence. He has this mindset of the fact that we have what we do here to survive, but his portfolio is laudable enough. He's a very, very professional person when it comes to engineering, and he still does all this automobile technician here as a side hustle. He has a background in physics and MSc in electrical and electronics, and he combines these technical skills with strong analytical abilities to solve complex engineering problems, especially in automotive systems. But beyond that, I have sat with him and we've dialogued. I have seen someone who is also burdened about the, the realities and predicaments we face as Africans in diaspora, and even someone who is actually also interested in seeing a work in Africa. So you have welcome, my friend, Fidelis Kohe.
Thank you very much for having me here today. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And that will be
yeah.
here.
You see that voice where you see now, you know that is the voice of a billion dollar someone who someone who don't chop money. But let me introduce Mr. Mathews Akindele. I'm happy to introduce him specially because this is a senior colleague in the line of my profession. Con journalist, he's a core practicing journalist to the core. This man is fire, brilliant, composed, he's full of life experiences. But there's one thing I appreciate him for. He's carrying the course of life in a direction where I have observed him from distance, and I believe that this is someone who is careful enough to let God lead and he follows God's directive. He is a broadcast journalist. We met at the University of the West of Scotland, where he came to do his master's in journalism properly. We're in the same department. I was in creative media practice and he was in journalism. So of course we're having the same courses and everything that's interwoven. he has practiced as a PRO personnel in Nigeria for over 14 years. And when I mean 14 years, this is someone who has sat in the corridors of power, seen governors, and he has been there. You know, when I mean been there, you know what I mean. So he has practiced, and from the in and out, this is someone who can actually give detailed analysis of the fact that this is what Nigeria is in practical sense. And beyond that, he's a family man who is unashamedly always portraying his family, and you will know that at the center of his existence, he prioritizes his family, and that is one thing people like us are learning from him. So you are welcome on board, Mr. Akindele Mathews.
Chairman, Ayelo. Because you be the chairman now. All this alien there is just by the way, but I know that you're a guy of intellect and you've done quite a lot of things. I can remember the time we had a podcast together.
Yeah,
Very
yeah. That's true. In in UWS studio, yeah.
We're having a very good topic about the referendum,
Yeah.
and so it's a very, very great time, yeah. So,
Yeah.
can you hear me very well?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Can others hear you?
So,
Fidelis, can you hear
I'm
you?
very,
Yeah.
then first and foremost, I would like to congratulate you about your movie going to the for
Oh,
head on the University of Lagos. That's a great feat. That's a
yeah,
very
thank you
great
very much.
feat.
Actually, it's a play. That was the play I wrote that was translated in 4 languages. It was my master's thesis
Wow.
on Iluo, One Queen, Two Kings. So I did this. The audio. I couldn't achieve the stage play here because of the casting and the language. It's African, so to get characters to play that role would take a longer time for me. So I did the audio play, the audio version and all. But it's time for it to go to stage properly because I have a lot of plays also coming. So yeah, thank you very much.
And
Thank you so much.
I can really attestate to that because for a play to go to a university like University of Lagos to be played on stage, I was privileged to go to watch some plays in the University of Ibadan while I was in Ibadan, but and I know how deep all those things are. So I know it's not a great thing. It's a great deal, and I know it's not a great work. It's not a little work that goes into that.
Yeah.
So so much. I congratulate you and
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I don't know. I feel that means a lot to me coming from you, especially. Thank you. This is my sister, Ashley Nkanmang. She's a Cameroonian, but I'm pained. But don't let me say I'm pained because you're married now. I thought you would have, one of my Nigerian brothers would have arrested you. But well, the good thing is we are all one. Cameroon, Nigerian, I see no difference. Nobody can even tell the difference,
Yeah.
I met this amazing sister while in Egypt. We were selected, 100 brightest youths were selected by the president of Egypt, courtesy His Excellency Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. And you can imagine, for Ashley to be among, so you know that she is solid. She's a solid woman. And, to even add up into that, our room was next to my room. You remember?
Yeah.
Our room was next to my room in Egypt back then. So there is no escaping ourselves. There was no escaping ourselves. We are always just into our rooms together, gossiping, because we have roommates. I had Felix, who was a Cameroonian. She had Victoria, who was a Nigerian. So that was a very perfect mix.
Yeah.
So it was one of the best time of my life and deciding moment of my life. And I'm happy that the friendship I've been able to build with people from that moment has been a very massive deciding factor of my destiny. You remember one of your Cameroon brothers is a billionaire, Mo. Mo has relocated to Dubai, doing really
Mustafa.
fine.
Yeah.
I've been on his neck trying to bring him down here. He's a massive guy doing his thing, has a very multi-million dollars, company and everything. But he gave me his word that he's going to come here one of these days. That was the moment also we met one of the great grandchildren of the ex-president of Chad. That's Mo's friend, Mo Abdel Chad.
Yeah.
You know the guy from Chad now?
Yeah, I know the guy, Abdel, I think Sisi, something
Yeah,
like that.
Abdul Chaidi or whatever. That guy, that guy has traveled to all the countries in this world. He has been to I saw youth and we were under 30. I saw youth whose passports were like this. People were changing passport every week, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I have to go back and go and change my prayer points. You know, it was an eye opener. You guys are fantastic. You don't know what you guys mean to me. Like, definitely there are things money can buy, and this is, you guys are one of those, things I can't even value near money. Ashley is currently in Canada with a beautiful, beautiful family, and she's a business. She studied business management and marketing, professional customer service, and telecommunications. She's also an HR enthusiast. That is to name a few of all our accolades. So you're welcome officially to this platform, Ashley Nkanmang.
Thank you, Papa.
Yeah, that name. Yeah, yeah, that name. You got me there. You got me there. Okay, let me officially welcome you guys to Street and Cathedral. This idea was given to me by God. I've just been boarding about, how we got here. But beyond me just talking, I'm not someone who subscribes to just talking. I'm a doer and I'm a thinker. So I don't limit myself to just thinking alone. So I felt like I have met intelligent people in my life that I've came across. And I know that these guys are guys they have good heads over their shoulder, just like you guys. These guys think are right. They are intelligent people. So I started thinking, then upon my meditation, it dropped onto my mind that, let us create a community, a powerful, that will, create a dent, and we'll create a powerful voice for ourselves. And Street and Catch Street itself, Egbon, from journalism, you know what is Vox Pop now? When we take mic to the street, and so street stands for the voice of the people. Why Cathedral? That comes from my sense. I'm a Christian and I don't intend to change, but it is actually standing from spiritual connectivity of everyone as human, respect to everybody's religion. I've had Muslim here, I've had traditional, Felix now. Felix subscribes to traditional, so I've had Felix on my platform. I feel that we are first human and we need to soar above our religious sentiment to have meaningful conversations. So yeah, you guys are officially welcome to Street and Cathedral.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man.
Okay, we have this topic before us. When we travel to this part of this world, to me, I will speak for myself. I grew up as an African boy. Everything around me speaks Africa. My home, raised with African ideals. My community, African mentality. My school, subscribe to that African notion. So, getting to this world, we started understanding what is called the popular culture. There will be clash of culture. We experience what is called clash of culture, clash of ideals. And that, to me, is meted with many things. Why some people would actually think it through to find a balance. Some people, it will be a complete resistance. Some people, it will be a complete acceptance. Some people, it will be sieving, bringing out the good, the bad, and maintaining the good and sieving out the bad. That is what we are about to talk about. The popular culture versus African ideals. So let me just first throw the question open before we now go to the proper, 1, 2, 3, whatever questions. What do you understand by this topic itself about the popular culture versus African ideals? So I'll start. Do you guys want to be gentlemen that ladies go first, or I go by punctuality? You see, I have gentlemen as my friends. So Ashley, what do you understand
Yeah.
by the topic itself? What does it suggest to you from the opening? The popular culture versus African ideals.
Well, to me, I feel like the popular culture it's basically driven by Western media, fashion, music, social platforms, and it has become very dominant. It has become a very dominant force, influencing maybe say people across continents. Specifically in Africa, this waves modern trends like often clashes with, this modern trends often clashes with long-term standing cultures like before the lifestyle we're currently having, like the lifestyle we're currently having, what we had when we experienced 20 years back is absolutely different from what we're currently experiencing, which is good to an extent, but to me, I feel like we still need to go back and learn some certain things, because we are losing a lot. We are losing a lot with the current trends, with the current modern system of living, because we are basically following what the Westerners are trying to let us follow, leaving behind what we actually came from.
Let me chip this in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm always also keen with words. Are they making us follow them, or it is actually an aggressive projection of their own culture before our face?
You know, like, we are easily influenced.
Why?
We are 100% easily influenced, because okay, we have before now, we didn't really have so much of social media. Aside the fact that, yeah, we most people might choose to do what they want to do, but social media has played a very, very big role in influencing us Africans. Let me be very specific: us Africans to turn to follow what the Westerners are doing, based off, like, the social media was created by them. In as much as they have different, maybe say, topics on social media where you can, if you want to actually follow your culture, you can still use social media for that tool, but it's rare.
So wait. Now, before I move to Fidelis and Mr. Mathews, let me keep this in again. Why does it seem as if this same social media that has been accepted globally by the
Mhm.
Chinese, by the Indians, by the Japanese, does not really threaten their own culture the way we talk about the Africa? Do you really think this is more of what do you think is going on? I don't want to suggest anything.
To me, to me, I feel like maybe for now, we don't really feel confident enough with what we have, because if you look realistically, you realize that in India, Indians everywhere represent Indians, but you see my brother come to, maybe say, to Canada after 5 years, they forget about, like, what I'm wearing. Most people will not put this on. They find it very embarrassing to put it on to represent
Like Mr.
themselves wherever
Matthews
they
and
go.
Mr. Fidelis are not wearing African attire. You've attacked them already now. No, I'm saying
They,
them.
they
I'm saying
find
it to their faces so they know that you're attacking them.
some people find it embarrassing. Like, they feel like, no, I should put on my nice, stuff I got from Zara, rather than representing myself. They find it very, very embarrassing, because I actually spoke with someone and she was like, "Why do I need to wear that for an interview? Because I wore this for an interview."
Did you get the
And she's like,
job?
"Yes, of course.
Wow.
I got a job when I was studying. I got a job. I wore this for an interview, because I find this to be like this an official wear. Aside putting on a white t-shirt and black pants, this is also an official wear. It represents my culture. We don't just put this on any time."
The Arabians wear that, full regalia,
Yeah,
jalab. They said the
they
way
do.
this. Okay, now let me take that as an opening speech. Okay, Fidelis,
Yes.
they've tackled you already. They said it seems as if you have also been brought into that popular culture. So, what do you understand by the topic itself? The popular culture versus African ideals.
Uh, yeah, just as our sister here has mentioned and she has said, is the popular culture is a culture that has been globalized and is being driven, like, spread through social media and the likes. And on the other hand, when you talk about the Africa idea culture, our culture is rooted in values, spirituality, and also forget culture itself is emphasis people's way of life that includes even down to art, to the type of food we eat, the way we dress, and the likes. So when you talk about the pop culture, I think they have, in a way, directly and indirectly impose it on Africa. Why do I say that? I think the way they succeeded in doing that is by first killing the Africa spirituality. By I'm not saying I'm a Christian. I'm not saying Christianity is a bad religion. And don't forget, there is already some important things like moral values have already in place, that guide us even before Christianity came to Nigeria.
Mm.
Before Bible came to Africa, we already have some values like, where I came from, you don't sleep with another man's wife. It's a taboo. you don't steal. We have community police already. You understand that trash people who go against the moral values. You get, and why does it seems like is Africa that this thing have actually affected the most?
To buttress what you are saying, I want to chip this in before Egbon comes in.
Yes.
Where you come from precisely, and because you come from a very, very historic place,
Yes.
Benin, and I have to talk about the ancient Benin.
Yes.
Around during the 15th century or whatnot, 17th, it was said that when the Portuguese, the Europeans came there, the city was well organized.
It was
The walls were well built and even bigger and longer. You can fact check this thing.
yes,
Bigger and longer than the walls of China. And they said that
gates.
it was even at that time one of the most beautiful cities in the world that they have ever stepped into, and it was competing with cities like Amsterdam. And now this is where I am going. We know from our history that now we are talking now from inward pre-colonial setting.
Yeah.
If a city like Benin could be like that, and in our history, it is not a marvel. Remember what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From our Egbon, you follow me back. From our own oral history, it's not like we know that Benin is a kingdom or from Oduduwa or whatnot, but it was not like a marvel. We were not even talking about it as a marvel. We have Oyo Empire, which we know that was a superior empire. We have Ife, which we know that all of us came from. And even this only Luo that I wrote about, they said it was during that time that they discovered tiles. The tiles used on the, on the floor on the street. And they said that these tiles were on every street in Benin. So that is to say that they made civilization right here, but ruined it.
Yeah.
And told the stories in a way that it was, So now, I want you to chip that in as regards what is called we unlearning and relearning in this whole ideology that is going on about the popular culture versus African ideals again.
I will say unlearning the things. If you to start with, if they have actually allow, I always tell people, if they have actually allow Africa to be, I'm telling you, growth is something that is not static. We could have on our own be more developed. So they destroy all these things, and you know uh, 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 preaching it or making it to look as though that they are now the one bringing modesty and all that to Africa. It sounds somehow. So you see, even I want to use Benin as an example. Even when it comes to roads, connection, and all that, they already made all those things in place. So when you say unlearn and relearn, I think what we should unlearn here is to know that Africa was Africa was not just the way it is now from the onset. We should unlearn some of there is no there for everything. Like you see the global culture, the popular culture rather, it has a double edge. It has its own positive
And negative.
aspect and
Okay,
negative
we're going to come in depth to that. Let me take Bro's opening speech. And from the title itself, the popular culture versus African ideals, what would you drop as your own understanding and knowledge from the go?
So, all right. I don't know which angle to come from, because this is a very deep topic, and which, if we have to really treat it the way it is, and how the things that are attached to it, we are not 1 hour, 2 hours, even a whole day is not enough to talk about it. But I will tell you, if you're talking to a 90-year-old man and you have popular culture and African ideals, the person will definitely tell you that African ideals in terms of religion and cultural background, where you come from, is deep rooted in the values that have sustained each community for generations before the advent of colonialism. Before people now comes in and tell us that, okay, you're not doing things right, you are not. This is what you should worship. This is lying. This is, you are not speaking right. Your pronunciation is not correct, even despite the fact that you wrote it the same spelling. And I tell someone one day, I'm still going to, just to digress. I tell someone one day at work, he said, "Do you know I'm your teacher here?" And I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "Oh, it's pronounced, the particular word says pronounced this way, it's pronounced this way." And I said, "Look here." All right. And I gave him a Yoruba word. And she was just scrambling. And I said, "Look at you. You can't pronounce my language and you expect me to take yours. That means I'm your teacher here. You are a teacher for your culture. I'm a teacher when it comes to our values." So now, to come to what we are talking about, we will say we're living in a world right now that you speak the truth and you get chased for it, you get beaten for it. And it takes intelligence for you to be able to decipher which one is truth or which one. If not, it's not surprising to have, for bad people to have followers,
Of
because
course.
they are speaking, you that have great value for culture and everything, you see, definitely that what this person is saying is detrimental to
Let me
their,
take you on that. Let me take you on cultural impact now. Let's
yeah.
go into the first. Now, how do you perceive the influence of popular culture on traditional African values? And can you share an example from your own experience? I know you shared one now, just
Yeah,
now,
that
but can you also go deeper on how you perceive influence of popular culture on traditional African values?
actually that's where I'm going. I won't say that the popular culture, to me personally, my own opinion stays with me and all other like minds. It's that the popular culture is a lie, and it's a lie to make people derail. You understand? Now, it takes its intelligence for you, coming from the kind of cultural, the kind of value that we know from the cultural understanding, deep in what we know, to be able to know that this line that you are going is a lie. And this one that I've known before, eh, which has worked for me, underline that word, worked for me, is the truth. Now, I did my research here where I stay, and I discovered that the people, the old people, when I say, you say I started with 90-year-old, those old people still owe that value. Somebody came into my house a few weeks ago to do my internet, and he was telling me that if they do something wrong when they were growing up, they get spanked and they are corrected. But right now, if you do something wrong, somebody, the elderly there, they turn a blind eye. Thing I've seen worse that you don't want to start mentioning online. So the popular culture is really, it's like it has eaten deep into
Mm.
culture, into the cultural values that actually build people. What we have now, instead of building people, is now bringing people down. Because,
You said something striking. You said it's a lie. That's a very bold
yes,
statement. Some people want to argue with you that
yeah,
what do you mean it's a lie?
it's around us. Look at the world. Look at the world. Look at what is happening. What is good? What is the truth in people fighting against each other, country fighting against each other? What is the truth in stemming some lies into the atmosphere? And you see countries. Well, recently we have Pakistan against India. If you dig deep into that, you will see that it still have to do with what we are talking about. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why I call it a lie. It's a bold statement, and I can tell you categorically that people know, Pan-Africanists know, that what people have actually embraced nowadays is a big, big lie.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ashley, I'm going to take you on community cohesion before I move to Fidelis on generational divide. Ashley, on community cohesion, in what ways do you think popular culture has contributed to the erosion of community cohesion in African societies? And are there specific trends you've observed while you are in diaspora and also back at home?
Yeah. To me, I think popular cultures often promote individualism, which can maybe say undermine communal nature of African societies. You know, like let me say for example, you see they put a lot of emphasis on branded on maybe say branding and self promotion on social media. Maybe say and maybe say focus less on their collective responsibility and community
So you
support.
feel it makes the society detached from humanity,
Yeah,
like everybody's on their in the world of their own. So in some school of thought, they will tell you that is the main reason for humanity not to be self-sufficient. You see, I'm trying to bring an argument that
yeah.
also depends the popular culture here. So you have a balanced view.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes in let me say for example, in urban areas, right? Most people are actually connected online to communities than maybe say physical neighbors. You know, like okay, let me say let me use for an example here, like where I live, right? I don't know my neighbor. I might even meet my neighbor online and maybe say we share comments under a post, which we laugh with, but I don't know it. I don't know that neighbor physically. I've lived in this place for like I've lived in this neighborhood for maybe for 2 years plus. I don't know who my neighbor is. I don't know how he or she looks like. But we might have interacted on social media.
And do you think that is wrong?
That is it. Us. Let me say when I want to talk now, I go back to us
Yeah,
as
okay, good enough.
Africans.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, back in Africa, I will still say like say 20 years back, we did not like we value our community. We value togetherness. We love our neighbors. Like I used to live in my neighbor's house.
Even there's a culture that we grew up with, and I think it is unarguably when, let's say, in Mr. Mathews' house now, they are Muslims and it's Eid al-Fitr time. They have we have a cooking culture
Mhm.
that they distribute food to their neighbors. And if I'm a Christian too, I know, oh, I have to cook and, return back the kind gestures they gave me during their own festivity. You can't try that here.
No.
I struggle to understand the use of dating app here. To be honest, I'm not in the league, but I struggle because Fidelis, when we're game, it's for you to drive, see a babe in a shopping mall, stop and start, baby, what's up? How you doing? Exchange contact. I struggle to go and snap my picture or put it on dating app. And to me, I struggle with that mentality. And I see you talking about that individuality. Is that what has brought about all these, these different kind of modalities we've experienced? It is not a talk of good or wrong, but it's a cultural shock for us,
Yeah.
as you are saying, right?
Mhm.
So buttress more on your point. I'm just trying to bring that
Yeah.
to you.
So that's why I'm saying that there is more of when it comes to this popular culture, right? There is more of individualism and maybe say in terms of maybe say community gathering, community support. Everything is done on social media. Everything like I don't even know how the dating app system looks like, but before, like you said, it's very easy for you to maybe say walk around your community. Maybe say you see some one or two people, you create conversations. Now, sometimes you might even want to talk to somebody along the street, and they say you're trying
Talking.
to, yeah, it is something that we met and we are getting into it. Like if you're in Africa, maybe say the system might be different, but when you come to the Western world, you realize that you have to live with that
If
because
I'm
that
going
is
to
their way of
exaggerate,
life.
if I'm going to exaggerate your words more to make it more profound, you mean humans are interacting more with machine and making machines or technology
Yeah,
be an intermediary in order to communicate with another human being, which is not our own essence because we are sociable animals, and by such we need to interact. But now we are interacting, and the machine or the system, or whatever medium, has been an intermediary between you and the other person.
yeah, we've been forced to use these things
Oh,
because that's the only way to. Let me say, yeah, we've been forced to use these things because I think that's majorly 85% the only means to communicate with maybe say people when you're in the Western world compared to when you're in Africa. 'Cause even back home, right now, if you go back home, you realize that if you go to maybe say a meeting, a gathering, a traditional gathering, you realize that 20, 30 minutes of the time everybody's on their phone. You don't even like if something is hurting your neighbor, you barely even know because you're so focused on your phone. You want to see who has posted, you want to see who is trending, we tend to forget where we are coming from. We are actually forgetting our roots and focusing on what the social media, the technology has given us.
Okay, let me move to Fidelis. Fidelis is like we are now digging the depths up now, starting from Mr. Mathews. He has touched on the cultural impact. Amazing, amazing, amazing lady here. She has dug up the community question. Now you are going to generational divide. Of course, I wouldn't know about other. I don't know about Gen Z. Me, before my very eyes, the world have changed 4 times. Brother, they no bonus for. I wasn't give. I did for my childhood. I was not. I didn't know what is called mobile phone. The world evolved right before our very eyes. We knew what is called computer. In fact, computer then was more of a big deal that our mom needed to send us to go and do computer
Exactly.
training. We
We
didn't know
started
it
with
would be something that would be.
typewriters.
We didn't know it would be something that would be this easy and accessible later on. The mobile phone, it will be your mom alone, and that phone, if you play with it too much, you might receive beating of your life. You know what I mean. We
Yeah.
grew up, and there's a generational divide now. The state, because we need to communicate with our elders in the society. We can't. They're also part of the society.
Yeah.
Now, considering the portrayal of elders in popular media, how do you think this affects the respect younger generations have for traditional authority figures? That's what is going on right now.
Yeah, I think with what is going on right now, one, I think it has caused a breakdown in respect to the elders, and secondly, some of it has also caused an automatic reversal in family. You see, uh, especially in tech. So even not telling your parents who are elder on what to do and the likes. So basically, it has also caused even so many other things like dismissal of the elders trying to advise the younger ones on what to do. So they can easily dismiss the elders.
Fidelis, P.S. Morgan, because God knows I read a lot and I listen to brilliant people a lot. Edmond
Yeah.
Obilo, Ted Obilo. So one of the international people I listen to and I follow is P.S. Morgan. So
Yeah.
on P.S. Morgan show, P.S. Morgan brought a boy. This boy has massive followers on TikTok. And the boy said he stopped talking to his parents. Of course, the boy is not African. That he stopped talking to his parents and his family. He became detached to them because he is now a famous guy. And they said that he doesn't have to relate with people that are behind so that they don't drag him down. So yes, actually, the way you did that was how P.S. Morgan did. P.S. Morgan said, including your mother and your father, and he said yes, that they are low life, they are low lives, and he doesn't want them to drag them down. So the psyche right now,
Yeah.
because now that is brought to the open. Now even this popular culture that we seem to adore so much, they are also facing their own problem, and
Of
a lot of the brilliant people like Piers Morgan are also going in order to correct that notion. There are these girls too that came, and it was a lady that had a thing to do with 100 guys in a day, all because of OnlyFans. And these are things that Africans are trooping. Like, now let us balance the view, Baba. Popular culture versus African Nigeria. Where have we lost? Where do they lose it? I see OnlyFans. Everybody makes money now. It's not as if it's easy to make money. You just having accounts anywhere. You might even create an account with Pornhub, but these are not subscribing to African ideals. And finally, people laughed. I saw something on X when a girl's post on Pornhub. It was just a funny meme, but to me it wasn't funny. And a video, a dirty video on Pornhub. Then our parents commented that me and your father, we are not happy. What is going on with you? Please come home. So that alone seems to be like the phone that will go viral on
yeah.
Twitter. But to me, I'm starting to see an elder who is heartbroken who is sad to her bone marrow that why will my daughter that I trained all because of free will subscribe herself to this. So what is really going on with all this? We buying into every popular culture, everything we see that we're buying into all these things. What is wrong with our African ideals, for heaven's sake, Fidelis?
Yeah, I think it starts from the parents. To be honest, there are some kids here, they can't even speak their language because their parents never speak the language to them. I've seen what a parent, Africa parents, interacting with their child, and it was more of negotiation. That is not how we're brought up. To some extent, our parents know what is good for us. There is no way they can direct us to a direction that will not lead us to something good. So it starts from the parents, and the parents in question, do they even know this culture? Do they have regard? Do they have respect for this, for the culture? That's number one thing. So if you do, it has to pass, just as the bro said, it's a generational something. It has to pass from a generation to a generation. Yeah, should we change some of those culture? Of course, the ones that need change, we know, yes, there is a need to change it. We can't change it, but the one that we know that this is who we are, there is nothing absolutely bad in it. So we need to push this to another generation, starting from our children, telling our children where we came from, speak our language to them, and all that. And so doing, you see, they have the Bible says, train up a child in the way
Yes, the
it
Lord.
will grow, and when he grows, it will not depart from it. So that's just my point on that. Is the parents teaching the children our
Well,
culture?
I love the fact that you said that. Do the parents have regard for the culture enough? There was a time when it was, a big success when you have, most of our politicians don't have Nigerian children, African children. If they don't have dual passports, that's even if they respect your country enough for their children to have the,
Yeah,
the passport of the country they are ruling. They are all foreigners. So as such, it was a success during those generation that, oh, my boy Fidelis is in UK. His elder brother is in America. That is his elder brother calling me, Akindele Mathews. He's in Scotland. But we that we are in Scotland, we are telling you now that Baba, forget, calm down with all this your generation don't they go
yeah,
because because no, these are the things we are facing. We have to face the reality. Forget all this bragging. They go back once, don't they sit down under one palm tree, they oppress your own friends. They talk, say, oh, you're picking there abroad. Picking with their abroad now, don't they talk now? Say, Baba, we need these African ideals and indigenous because it was more like you were whitewashing us, bro.
yeah,
And maybe you were right. Maybe the parents never had, full respect. They
yeah,
had this day for their own culture as well. Well, Mr. Akindele Mathews, who could talk about spiritual beliefs if not you? It's with your accolades and your your love for God, which I know. Well, let's talk about that spiritual belief. And this is where I'm going to argue in that spiritual belief. Well, let me throw it open before I start my argument. You can see the Fidelis have done the laugh. How do you see the clash between popular culture and African spiritual beliefs manifesting in contemporary society? Do you think there's a way to reconcile these differences? Now let's start. Before this laka braka kosh, our society, every tapas. Baba, now all these your Christians and ministers with the power, and then they chop all this billion money, nothing they do there. Now there's an argument that if these people have sworn by Shango and Ogun go don't stop them. Our society was well guided before. But now with all this nothing they stop with these people, even when they chop our face right before our eyes. And we knew that our spiritual belief system back then. I'm a Christian, like I said, I'm a Christian. But being a Christian, me and you know, me and you, everybody for this way this life now knows say there's something called Magun, Thunderbolt. Say if one suspecting husband go put something for his wife body, say make the person where the wife they cheat on top, make him die. He go stop. Me and you know, saying they happen, and he go stop regardless between whether you're a Christian or whatever. Why? What has become that clash? Why have we gotten to this point where our spirituality now seems to be contending with what it used to be obtainable before? Why didn't we improve upon it? Why did we need to destroy everything about our essence? or because, oh, I'm a Christian and I'm a Muslim?
You know, one thing is, before I go into that, because that spirituality, you have to argue with me very well. But before that, I want to talk about, you see the reason why I said that I'm talking fast now so that I don't take much time. See the reason why I said that there is a lie in the popular culture. You see, you look at what is happening in the USA now. Look at the tariff and all that was put on China. Look at China coming out to tell us the truth about luxury brand. I mean, look at that. Look at someone making something under 50 pence and going outside there to sell it for $2,000. Now, what ratio can you put that? And that is the same thing that our leaders and our political leaders and even our Christian pastors are encouraging in churches. Now, that is by the way. Now, I have to talk about why the reason why I'll tell you that religion, I'll talk about Christianity has been watered down. That it doesn't even have any taste anymore. I was a Christian. I'm still a Christian. See the
I was scared. I was like, I was a Christian kid. Baba.
No, what I said is that
Well,
I don't believe in the fact that you need to go to church before you worship God. You need to be in the Bible says that we should not go away from the gathering of his people. Now, who are his people? Do you even know whether the people you are gathering with are his people? Do you even know whether the pastor that you are bending your head and receiving from is giving you the right anointing? See, I have the privilege of standing right in front of Pastor Adeboye and being laid on by him. I have the privilege of going to so many places and they tell you that you need to speak in tongues. And all those times that I tried to speak in tongues, I was a deacon. All the time you have to speak in tongues, someone even tried to push me down. He was pushing me and I was struggling. I said, what is wrong with you? And I don't know what you understand. I don't understand. But I tell you this, the day I received that, speaking in tongues, was not the day I test for it. I was just in the redemption camp and I was just praying and I felt that like a ghost bumps within my body and something came and I was speaking something I don't understand. And it's up till now, even despite the fact that I've not been in church for a long time, up till now, I can still speak it without even wake me up and I'll speak that same thing. Because it's tailored for, and it's not something that I have to learn. And the same thing goes with spirituality. Now, I know that we are going to have problems that we are facing here back in 1997 when I was doing a community mobilization back in Nigeria when I was working at the NOA. When somebody came, we invited people to the to the community center and we're talking. And there was nobody because that program was meant for the elder. And we asked them, why are these people not here right now? And they said, oh, they are still in the farm. And I said, what about the youth? And they said, the youth has followed the politician to the city as political thugs. They want, because of 1,000 naira, and that will be given to them. They don't want to do any other thing. So now, who is going to take care of the adults? Who's going to take care of the home front? Now, the same thing comes to religion. Now, look at the churches. I tell you, in the church one day, when I was an usher, at the back of the church, a boy was watching pornography. When the was going on. Now, what can we say about that? I mean,
you know, I was saying something. I was saying something recently, and I will still keep saying it. While these new generational pastors they are priding themselves in, yeah, I came to Canada and we had 50,000 shut down show. I said, now the same thing them as I get the shut down. You know, get bragging right beside them whiskey though. So stop. We need quality, not quantity.
Dimeji, I've seen a pastor who was in this UK. Is a popular pastor. I'm not going to mention names. In the UK, who was flaunting a Ferrari.
Of course, I know him. You know him. Everybody knows him.
I mean, pastor, make not talk too much.
Yeah.
Then you look at it. Let me tell you, many times the issue of this first fruit and all that. There are so many things that really water down religion, Christianity, and all that. First fruit. I'm going to talk about that because it's something that has brought my mind for a long time. And I look at this one year, I never paid. I never paid it, and because I face the reality. If I give you the 100% of what I have, what I earn for the start of the month, everything I give it to you, bah, and my son comes home and tell me he needs money to go, and I said no. Now the school sends him back home. I know I have to believe. You understand? But what am I believing? I'm not
Baba,
one.
Baba, not even go too far. Yeah, the church system is registered as a charity, and there's a law that guides every charity.
Apart
Back to Nigeria is registered as a business. Alpha.
from Dimeji, apart from that, I was in the admin, so that you know that I'm deeply rooted in Christianity in Nigeria. I was in the admin, and we do remittance every month. We remit millions of naira, and just about 20% is given back to us to maintain the church. How do we do that?
No, you have pastors that are full time now. And you know the funny thing now, the funny thing going on in Christendom now. You know the fight between Tupac and Biggie. It's going on in church now. They are now having counter messages. You go listen to this message of this pastor, they abuse this one here. You go listen to counter. I'm like, still we don't do Arsenal, Chelsea, we don't do Tupac and Biggie for church.
Before you go too far, you said something about the pastors have to work. Now, what's wrong with the pastor going to work normally in a secular world?
I don't know.
Why must we, the impoverished, why must the impoverished feed the pastor?
And now they are saying that even the impoverished now, that Jesus does not like us.
At the end of the
They
day,
even tell you that if you don't have,
they say Jesus does not like us, that Jesus likes the rich people because Jesus never visited any poor person on that. You didn't listen to that message. That Fidelis, you know, hear the talk.
I did. I listened to that.
They say Jesus does not like us. They say Jesus does not like us.
Not the rich. So that is why they are accumulating wealth. You see, that is their idea.
See, one of my first commenters said, I used to be a parish head usher in LCCG, and I can confirm that you are 100% up.
You the year now.
Baba, wait, more even do this. Let's say we are speaking on behalf of the fools now. Because most of these people now, they listen to them, just say, these people are carnal, don't listen to them, they know them. They have all these different words to call us. Okay, fine. Now, wife,
do you see
let's
this
make
new pope? Do you
1 minute, because of this person that make this comment, I want him to corroborate something. Now, there was a time my junior sister is a zonal model, right? So she exposed me a lot because I was just there calmly and I was doing my thing, and they would say, "Oh, is that your sister?" And I said, "Oh, why don't you want to be a pastor?" And one day my pastor told me, he said, I was trying to change my tires. I can't even buy a new tire. And I was trying to take the tire, and the person said, "Do you mind if we post you to a church as a parish pastor?" And I said, "No, don't try it, pastor, please." And my friends around me told me, "Why did you do that?" And I said, "Look, I'm going to spend about 2 months, because the first month they might say maybe it's a mistake. The second month they will bring police to arrest me." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Look, I can be in a church and contribute, and people contribute to the tune of 3 million. And at the end of the month, and I see from the altar, it is very easy for you to see people as they are when you are from the altar. I've had privileges to lead prayers, and I see people. I know people who doesn't have. You can see it right on their faces.
No, Baba.
I'll tell them to line up, and I'll give them the money.
Baba, I'm sorry to say, the question now is, all these porous things that are going. Our forefathers had a system, a spiritual system that actually catered for all these things. In fact, they warn you. I'll translate for you. Only Okobi Lojubo, Ofreshulad, Obachi Gidiliti, Owani Kiloshi, show up what you Now, we know that we don't joke with these African gods. And even the Jesus that we knew, the Joseph Ayo Babalola that received the kind of mantle that dispelled darkness from the land. This new generational pastor will call them foolish people because those ones, they didn't run after money and luxuries. They were in
they will call me an antichrist.
Baba, they have many names for us now.
Yeah.
They will say we are carnal, we are not deep,
Yeah.
we are Guinness. These are the different things they will call because of emotional blackmail. But right before our eyes, even Bishop Abioye don't leave Bishop Oyedepo and don't pack like 1 million followers go there, and we must not talk about it. Leave them, don't talk about the man of God, don't talk about your man. What is really going on?
They'll tell
I was supposed to be stupid
they'll,
followership.
they'll
Followers.
tell you not for you to judge.
Don't
But
judge. No, they can judge us because they don't judge us. Say Jesus said no like us. We poor. They talk say Jesus no like us now. Say you know come our house. You can imagine those kind of messages. Anyways, my own question now is with this rise now, we are trying to raise a consciousness, a different kind of because I always say the Jesus Christ I encountered is not the Jesus they are selling in most of this cathedral. The Jesus that changed my life. Everyone knows that this is the reason why Jesus Christ changed me. And Baba, you know why I stayed away from altar pulpit? Because me judge myself that I feel I am not worthy enough. That except Holy Spirit deal with my weak, I cannot lie to people. If to say now acting, Baba, I shall be actor. I don't blow. But I can't. It's dangerous. I can't do it. I can't. So I would rather let Holy Spirit deal with my weakness. Make I know say, okay, fine, satisfactorily. These my weakness have been dealt with. Then I'll walk into it.
Cultural value living in you and speaking out.
I can't lie. I can't deceive people. I can't.
The popular culture will make you to go outside and act and acquire wealth for yourself as a pastor and preach prosperity to people. Do you get what I mean? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. I follow
Now,
you.
when we talk about Ogun and all that, when people go to the shrine to actually do swear that they won't do this, do you see any one of them deviating from the agreement they have?
Yeah.
No.
Because it's a matter of life and death, and that is where we are going. People are taking this watered down Christianity that we talk about is about the game of good and evil, good and bad. Nothing in life has ever been a game of good and bad. It is life and death, bro. If you change that your psyche to life and death, I swear you will not act wrong in this life. It is life and even Jesus Christ said, in me you have abundant life. Having Jesus Christ is not a matter of good and bad. This was it's life and death, bro.
Now let me give you another example, a real life example. Again, I have the pastor that actually changed me. The Pastor Aderomu. If you're listening or you hear you stumble on this video in the future, much respect to you, sir. That is a person who has seen the world, and he came out. He yearned for power, for spiritual power. So, okay, this power that they're talking about, he yearned for it. He fasted for 100 days, dry fasting, and at some point, he turned to his head. He was about to run mad. That is when they begged him to come back, and that is when it started. But ever since then, that man is the only pastor that I've seen preached on the altar from the pulpit, and people are walking out of the church because of the truth he's saying. And he was pointing to them as he knew them. That they say, how many of you here will a girl come to his office to seek for job, for an employment, and you will not tell the girl to lie down so that I can have something with her? I'm telling you, people started walking out of the church. It was during my father's remembrance. And he told my mom, he said, see, if not because I know this man, he died even on the day that he has administration. He said, even if because I know this man, I wouldn't be in this country because we don't celebrate the dead. Once you are dead, you are gone. You that you are alive, you need to make life better for the people. And my mom had to rethink on that. Now, talking about the spirituality and all that, look at what is happening now. Do the children, the boys, the youth now even see religion as a scam? They would tell you, you're asking me to bring money when I can't feed myself, when my father has not even given me, or my parents has not even given me food to eat in the morning.
Aside from that, if you listen to this Pastor Femi Lazarus podcast, you see what even some men of God are taking advantage of the vulnerability of these people, sleeping with them.
Yeah. There is one thing recently said, Pastor Dixon or whatever. And I told my friend, I said, when somebody call you, when you are as a young girl, as a matter of fact, you are to be blamed. When they call somebody Dixon, and you say until they tell you, say, no, I doubt that the sexy guy. Before you say you're supposed to run away from him.
Okay, let's move ahead. That was a very, because I knew we are going to have a very quick stop on that spiritual belief, because Africa's spiritual belief system, we are supposed to improve on it. I'm telling you, that would have been man. We were supposed to improve on it. You know what I'm doing right now, and that's where I've stumbled upon many archives of the plays I'm coming out with. I am looking for Jesus Christ in my Yoruba culture. You know what I believe? You said Jesus Christ, according to John 1:1. He said, remind me that first line first. He said, in the beginning was the word, and the word was God. So that means Jesus Christ has appeared to almost every culture, even before he's coming to the world. He loves the world. God loves the world, right? So this is not about just pitching tents with Israelites. And I can prove it right. He categorically made to punish Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was not even Israelite. And he said he was the one who gave Nebuchadnezzar that power, even when Nebuchadnezzar was not even referencing him. So if we look at the dynamics of listening in between the line, he rules in the affairs of man. It's a solid statement. So where is Jesus Christ in my culture? How has he appeared to my forefathers? Nobody is taking cognizance of this. And you know the striking thing I found in Ifa? Ifa prophesied about a religion coming that must be accepted. How can you say they are devilish, for heaven's sake? When even there is extremism in every religion. And I started wondering, if this religion was a threat, why will Ifa say they must accept that religion? And do you know what was in Ifa again? SFA kan sọ wípé àsìkò ń bọ̀ tó ń pè ní àsìkò jẹ́wé sùn. Àsìkò tá ò jẹ́ kí ewé kó sùn. Jẹ́wé sùn. My people could relate immediately when they heard about Jesu. Jesu, Jẹ́wé sùn. So they could start relating Jesus pé ṣé lọ bàtálá rárá, ṣé òkè orúkọ tó ń rè. So that is why the translation of Bible in Yoruba tó bá fi gbàdúrà, I'm telling you, okay. Nígbà tí wọ́n sọ pé thunder, wọ́n máa sọ pé nínú ẹ̀fúùfù lẹ̀lẹ̀. You know, Baba, you know what I'm talking about. These are very conk words in Yoruba. So now someone will now come out to reduce that God to money. Now get mind, though. You reduce God to money. Wow. Anyways.
No. Why do you think most of our things from the Benin, I'll start from the Benin now. Benin, to me, Benin, as in civilization, was much more in the olden times. It started from Benin. Because if you look at it, the bronze head and some other things, how did they carve those heads? And I tell you, there is nothing like that in the Western world.
No.
But all those things.
Baba, it starts from the old axis of the reason why I won't subscribe to just Benin, because if it was just Benin, we would have had it in our oratory that Benin was a wonder to us.
No, let me land. Okay. Remember when Aberdeen returned, University of Aberdeen returned some artifacts. I think it was around 2022. Yeah. We still have loads of them that are stored away. And those are the potent ones that were taken by the soldiers that came to Africa then. All these things were not released. There are so many things. Okay, look at the issue of computer. I have a computer right behind me, in front of me. How do you think you can translate? You talk about JSON, JSON and all that now. What do you think about computer? And Ifa Diokpele.
Ifa definition is even in direct translation to computerization, not even the computer system, the computing itself and code writing.
Now let me take you into Gigo. That is garbage in, garbage out. If you put rubbish into Ifa, if you put rubbish into the computer, what will it give you? To give you rubbish. Now, if you don't consult your Ifa very well, the results will not come out. You didn't do the kola nut properly. You didn't throw it where you are supposed to go. You didn't throw the bead the way it's supposed to be thrown. You didn't put the right fingers onto the board. Do you think it's going to give you the truth? Now look at computer. Computer, if you don't put in the correct command, what is it going to give you? It's going to give you rubbish.
Yeah.
Now, I am so afraid now of this AI. Oh, God have mercy. This AI is crazy.
Not only you.
What is behind that thing?
Not only you. I said the richest man, Elon Musk, said that humanity should slow down on the use of AI. Elon Musk advised everybody that we need to slow down the use of AI.
I
That
tell
AI,
you, I don't know,
he
but
said, according to his words, AI is more dangerous than ballistic missiles.
see, is it not the same person that is talking about using drones to fight wars and all that? Can you imagine a drone who's somebody hack into the system and
It will
decide
wipe
on?
it can wipe away a whole city, and they will say that it is an override of
They'll say
the.
it's an error.
Well, let's talk about. I'm sorry, Ashley. That spirituality is something that we knew that we are going to have a long stop here.
Is a lot. Is a very very big. See what the topic you bring today is something that we need to actually. You need to have. You need to have like maybe
Series, right?
six people or 3 people talking about it. Then you now tell those people that this topic, we are going to talk about it in the next 6 months, and you let everybody do a background check and dig deep and bring it, and you see whether you finish in 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think the topic about spirituality has to be like
A different
a
one,
whole
right?
topic on
It
its own.
it it, it is the main problem that we have in Africa.
Yeah,
That's the main problem
100%.
we have in Africa. The,
Okay,
the issue of
I've written
washing,
that down. I'll note now.
the issue of brainwashing.
It's crazy.
Now, I wrote something that I now remember about that spirituality. Now, okay, you tell me to take something that you've given to me, but something that I have, you are not willing to embrace it and you are not willing to use it.
I'm
So,
my own different opinion is even this. The core traditionalist or the herbalist that the likes of them Joseph Ayo Babalola proved God to be superior to their own God, because that was what Moses did. There was a valid their own God turned to snake. The only difference was that Moses' snake swallowed their snake, which was a sign, clear sign to everybody there that this is a bigger God. But that there was no validity in their spiritual system. Don't go there. Now, this at the time you say most of the Babalawo or people who converted to Christianity with that so-called most might be convinced to go back to African traditional stuff with the nonsense that is going on in Christianity right now.
are they not going back? Most of all these people,
These
you
guys are
haven't.
These guys are powerless. They are just talkatives. Most of them, if you can carry banter, go knock pastor for pulpit, the pastor go run. Powerless Christians, bro. It's all talks. When you have success, you have come badass. You have to. God likes money. Like what is all this?
It's a way to brainwash you and to make sure that you are still in that path that they've placed you.
Anyways, let's move forward.
It's a
Ashley,
business, you know? Like when your business is generating income, you have to keep devising different strategies to make sure that it exists. So a lot of
anyways,
them are so focused on that.
There is something, you see, the social media has played a major role in all those things that you've been talking about. You see, there is what we call in 1997. I can remember one of our lecturers. He came to America to study, and he said there is what we call monopoly. That's 1997 for crying out loud. He said what we have now is the monopolization of media system, and which is going to eat deep into the loins of the future generation. And I tell you, that is what is happening now. Nobody pay good attention to it the same way nobody pay attention to people speaking the truth.
of course,
And
it's obvious.
why do you
I, I,
think?
I
Why do you?
if I had come here to come and talk about relationship things,
Oh,
things that
this
things
place
that
will
don't matter, or we are talking about sex, how to
this place
satisfy
will be filled up.
you will see people calling from Australia. Please, even my husband, when you do two, he will be tired. But you talk about things that matter. But one thing I notice is this: people that really matter are listening to us.
Yeah,
They've always been listening to
that is it. No, it's not. It's not. See, people are. You understand what I mean? But people who are listening, do they have the will?
because it's out. No, it has always been the 1% that controls the 90%, right? Or the 99%.
No, what I'm even saying is that let's say the people that a lot of people listen. You know that your program now will be filtering through pages of the people who opens the who you're friends with and opens the Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It will come into their time all that. And they hear you talk, they say, but do they have the will to propagate this truth without receiving a backlash, even from their own wives or their husband, without receiving a backlash, even from the community that they live in?
But we do receive the backlash. But we are
Yes,
used to it.
I don't care, because the way I mean, build my children. If you say a vulgar language, I chastise you immediately. I take away your phone. I take away your phone, and you see them, they come down. And it will not repeat itself. If it repeats itself 100 times, I take away that thing, all those things that has meaning to you. So just to make sure that you don't deviate from that teaching. He said, I can't remember that particular adage right now. But what I know is that this cultural value, okay, look at let me say the issue of respect. Do the kids have respect for elders anymore?
Ashley, you should answer that.
See, let me tell you something. When you was actually when you're actually talking about this topic about elders respecting, like, sorry, the junior ones respecting the elders of old, kids respecting their parents. When we're growing up, I have this memory still in me because my dad used to be the discipline master of my quarter where I live. Like, basically, he took that responsibility to make sure that every child in that community had something to show for. Like, if you leave where we're living, like if you leave that area, you go to another place, they know you're coming from a good environment. He used to flock, like now they no longer flock. He used to flock to us at that time. We felt like if they flock you, it's because you've done something really wrong and you need to redress your step. So we had some level of self-respect even when we were young. We had some level of self-respect. We knew that, okay, if I do this, it's wrong. So my father might not be happy about it, and if my father tells me don't do this, is because he knows that if I do it, it's going to be detrimental to me. But now people want to just learn from consequences. Like, my father said I should not do this, but I'm going to do it.
People want to learn.
I'm going to do it. I don't care what he says.
Wait, slow down. That's a very profound statement. People want to learn from consequences.
Yeah.
Wow. That's profound.
Like, when I was growing up, because I keep using my past, like the way I used to grow up, because my father used to be a discipline master. We had us in the house, aside the people in that community, we had one level of orderness. If you see my father coming, just maybe say a distance away, everything is in order. There is no, you see this thing, people like now, the generation of today, they call their parents by their names, like, Helen, come here.
It can never be an African
What?
thing. It can never, ever be an African
What?
thing. Now, let's talk about, because you've touched on it, let's talk about the youth identity crisis. Ashley, how do you think the conflicting ideologies between Western popular culture and African traditions contribute to identity crisis among youth today?
You see, when it comes to identity crisis, now in the world today, we don't even know who we are. We don't even know where we're coming from. A lot, like,
We are detached from our history, and just like Gio Fagunwa talked about, people who are detached from their history will go blindly to the future. They will walk blindly to the future.
extremely. Like, okay, my son is 4 years old.
Is that not scary?
Extremely. My son is 4 years old now, and from since he can talk now, he can try to understand a little bit of, like, he can talk. If I talk, he can respond to me rightly. I started teaching him my mother tongue, and I showed him a couple of pictures of me when I was a baby and things we used to learn, because my father, he's a traditionalist in terms of, maybe say like, I started speaking my mother tongue when I was maybe say 5 years old perfectly. So I try to make sure that, aside the fact that I'm in Canada, it doesn't limit me from being able to let them know where we're coming from. They should grow with that idea that, okay, I'm from the west region of Cameroon.
Do you think that would be enough? If it seems as if we also I stand to be corrected.
Yeah.
It seems as if majority of us have demonized where we are coming from, and we want to detach our children from it directly or indirectly. And I've seen it happen with some of our contemporaries or our family friends or our cousins that traveled before us. They never came back, not even for holidays. And it's only their parents that will come back. Even if their parents will come back, there's a way they move that is funny. As if they're scared. They don't want people to see them. That maybe their lives are at stake or whatever. It's like all of a sudden home is dangerous for all of us.
Well, I think towards that direction, some people still have societal traumas, you know. There are some people that maybe their upbringing, or maybe say when they were growing up, they had one or two things that whenever they maybe say go back home, that memory keeps coming back, and
Ashley, believe
those
me,
memories might not be
believe
positive.
Ashley, I beg you, Nemo. Believe me. I'm not even talking about people who have had, trauma. In fact, I can spare those ones. This is even to people that we know that they don't have trauma. You are, but which trauma you get? You will be saying you the right taxi for Abeokuta before you travel. Now the taxi even you sell, buy flight ticket. Which trauma you get? It's like I can't be the only one thinking about this. I've seen this. It's like there's a psyche that we just believe that once we get here, everybody back at home will be on you. Your life is no more safe. You go back home.
Yeah, they
This kind,
thinking about levels.
and you can't bring your children to back home, so automatically you've detached your children from. But we see likes of Davido taking advantage of what these people have demonized. I asked everybody, how did Davido learn how to speak Yoruba? Davido that they born in Atlanta. How did Dangote children learn and know how to speak their language fluently? Because their parents made it a duty that these people will not be detached from their motherland. And now it's paying off for likes of Davido. Look at how advantageous it is for Davido. So yeah,
Let me comment on that. You see, I will say with this saying that if you want your child to survive, make sure you imbibe in them the culture, the cultural value that you have been that survived you for a long time. That's I will handle with that. The second thing is that you said the video you mentioned we have people like Okoya, we have people, although the Gen Z wife now, we see what the children are doing. Do you know that Okoya, do you know how many wives Okoya has?
I don't know.
That their children are not outside flaunting wealth. And their children are living good and they are doing well because they are brought up in a very good manner.
Hmm.
And it's not as if they didn't come to the UK, they didn't go to
Of
US. But
course. Yeah.
they come back home and they teach them culture. And it's paying off for them.
Mm-hmm.
But those ones that refuse to do that, that come here to say, oh, my husband is not doing enough for me, oh, pick the phone call and call the social services to come and chase him out of the house. What happened to them at the end of the day? Their child are either in jail or committed a crime that he has to look at all the things. They are all
God,
around you. You know this.
God bless you. And this will bring us to the second. I want both of you to react to this. God will bless you with this. You've touched it, and I want you to complete your thought on this. I came across this and popular culture versus marriage. You touched on this. I just want to ask the question properly. A lot of people now, the popular culture surrounding marriage now, in fact, some people don't call it I'm married. I've got a partner. Some people say I have someone I'm living with. Some people say I've got a boyfriend. There's a lot of diluted words here now that as an African we don't understand. Are you guys together? You guys married or not? That is an African man asking you a straightforward question. No, we're not married, but we've been together for like 15 years. How? An African man would how? Yeah, we have 2 kids, but we're just partners. How? He's your husband now. But anyways, jokes apart, that is the popular culture, letting you know that take your time, don't rush into marriage, even though you've been together for 25 years. You can marry 30 years after, and we're like, this is madness. That is to an African person, though. Now I now came across the Jewish family structure. So while the world was debating, I've been landslide upscaling percentage of divorce and marriage arguments. Marriage is not for us. And the Jewish were teaching family structure proper. And it dawned on me. It dawned dawned on me that we've been reading the Bible as if it was a storybook. That what kept the children of Israel not to go into extinction when they were in slavery in Egypt all these years, and that even their number became a threat. It wasn't recorded in the Bible that they were promiscuous. It was never recorded that they were given into lust and frivolity and they were just sleeping with dogs and whatever. They were still upright. So I said, okay. And I went into the little brief study of the Jewish family structure. Baba, if you listen, I dare you to, I'm encouraging, I'm encouraging you guys to look into it. You will see the proper teaching of what family stands for, family orientation stands for. And I'm asking us a question right now. What is the popular culture versus marriage? But you've touched on it right now, talking about single parenting and how it have adverse effect on kids. But people will say, nah, that is you picking one-sided story. Please land your thoughts and exaggerate on it.
And part of the reason why people don't really want to embrace the fact that they want to stay married to someone is that marriage itself is a very, very deep thing. You understand? You are not committed to someone and you start misbehaving. Do you know what I mean by that? You have a church wedding. You've gone to the court before you came to have your white, and the pastor presided over the wedding and was telling you, do you stay lawfully wedded to this person, through thick and thin and all that? Do you think it's a joke? That is the reason why people are running away from it, because the commitment, they don't want that commitment. That's one. Number two, the fact that you get to lose all you have. If a woman now decided to say that I'm tired of this guy, I don't even want to, for not
The
for
man can decide.
no what even if a man decides, they will still go away with everything you've got.
So you
You
feel it's not a fair kind of,
it's not fair. Somebody who has worked his life.
but people are now doing the accounting. You know the accounting now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see now, as the whole thing is evolving, people are now, boys too, talk on the wise up. Now look at Nigeria now. Those young boys doesn't even want to stay married. They don't even want to even think about you.
I had Eminem did the accounting, kept all his things with his mother, and all. Even the mother now sued him for singing a song about her, and he won the case against his mother, but had to pay $64,000.
It's still the same. It's still the same thing we're talking about.
So he's even telling you that even your mother can betray you. That's what Eminem is
it's still
saying.
the same
That
thing
even
we're
if
talking about.
they have done the accounting.
The male versus the female. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Trump faced the same thing some years ago. It was at that particular time that I started following Trump. When his first wife left him and it went with half of what he was, but he survived. You understand? And I'm not all the things he's doing right now. I'm not some of them are not going down well with me. You understand? But at the same time, the world does not want whoever speaking the truth. Now, coming back to our marriage issue, I will tell you, no, for sure. Look around you. You are sorry, what's it? Ashley,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
actually.
Dimeji. Just look around you. And me, I ask questions. I have about 3 to 4 friends who are partners. Some are partners. I'm married, but I'm telling you, one of them. I'm not permitted to say this now because she's one of my friends. She might be listening. See, but I know what she's going through right now. You know what I mean? But this marriage of a thing can only make your life and family better. I will leave it at that. Whoever wants to do that, whoever wants to really make his life better, should properly marry.
Ashley,
Have
Wait.
all the.
wait,
When you finish, because
Ashley,
I know she's making
Ashley, I,
some evasive. There's some evasive expression on her face right now when I said that. But what I'm telling you is that you cannot survive alone.
Yeah.
of course.
For real.
One thing I know. Now, because if you cannot survive alone, now imagine if we have A and B now, the male and the female. A dies and B has to survive. How would he survive? Without putting in place the right thing because they just see themselves as civil partners and they are not legally married.
Ashley, I've watched all your breakfast status. Do you have a different? do, you,
Yeah,
do you
that
have a different opinion from what Mr.
Yeah.
Akindele said?
Talking about marriage, right? Based off maybe no experience or maybe experience, I don't know, but marriage is basically a school because no one gets married for the first time with experience in marriage. It's like a school where if you don't follow the instructions of that school, you might fail. And you have in that marriage, let's say that school, you have students to take care of, which are your kids. And if you're not able to maybe say focus solely on making sure that that marriage works perfectly well, the students you're bringing up are going to be wayward. And the foundation of marriage, to me, I consider marriage to be something that has a lot to do with two people that are actually ready and willing to learn from each other, not based off maybe say experience, because getting married for the first time, you never married before, so you have zero experience. Maybe you might have gone for counseling, you might have gone for advice from maybe say the old and experienced married people, but advice can only be filtered, and maybe say you might filter that advice to get the right information or the right material to use towards your marriage, but it entirely depends on who you are and what you stand for.
I'm not. I've absorbed the shock, so yeah, you can continue.
we have
Yeah, I used to.
we have absorbed the shock.
It's crazy to say the foundation of the marriage had a lot to do with maybe say indiscipline. Let me use it that way. It had a lot to do with indiscipline, and that's what made me to be where I am today. Maybe at some certain point I was too disciplined to a point where the other partner maybe realized that there's no need to be that disciplined when the other person is already disciplined. So the weight was basically on one person's shoulder. At the end of the day, there's too much to everything, you know. If you're doing something so good and you keep doing it alone, it's supposed to be a 50-50 thing. So that's why when I heard you say, I don't know the name, but when I heard you say single parenting, the result of single parenting might lead to maybe say one child going to jail because of 100%. I agree with you on that, but 100% I agree with you on that, depending on who is bringing up that child and how
Yeah,
maybe say their life used to be before.
I was raised by a single mother, though, so don't be scared. Look at me. I started from the bottom. Now I'm here.
This is one of the topics we discussed. I think about 2 years ago, and it was on TikTok, and we talked about single parenthood. Now, let me tell you one thing: everything has percentage. I'm not saying this is the major year. One thing Yoruba will say, I will, or it will help me to interpret it. Say that tabakoni ọmọ tobacco no matunra ko.
So what he's saying in essence is that when you train a child, the onus also rests on the child at a point in time to train himself or herself.
You understand? It's a very little percentage of women or man single-handedly taking care of a child, and that child become successful. Now, that person might have 2 to 3 children, and 2 of them being successful, and just one shows the other part. Now, where I'm trying to come here is that, see, Yoruba says that Agbajowo laugh.
So what he's saying is that let me translate that to you. That means it is these whole fingers, the whole hand that you that you're using to beat your chest. So one finger or one hand cannot take a load from the ground and you lift it on the head. So he's talking about togetherness.
Yeah.
You understand?
So where I'm going there with that statement is this: how can you tell me you have a twin? Let's say, okay, all right, I'll just give birth to a child. Or let me say, give out to a boy and a girl. Now, and I'll explain to you what that means. I give out to a child. The first one became twins, two girls, and say, I have two girls now. So the
Let me
next,
just pop it up.
and you give back to you do the second one, and the second one is two boys. So now your two issues now brought you four what?
4 issues.
Are you going to kill two of them away? So now tell me, how can four people be taken care of? You have boys, two boys. You don't want to tell me how it is so easy to take care of a
Come
boy.
on. She has 2 boys.
I have two boys.
My mama raised 3 boys.
I
So
have two boys.
you speaking to the right ears, bro.
See, the thing that makes parents that give birth to a boy to be those boys, majorly, most of them are so successful. Do you know the reason why? Because the mother knows the job she's have on those children, and you keep. And I'll tell you, those parents, if you ask them, they have their shortcoming. They have where they're lacking. Let me tell you, you want to go to work. You go to work for money. Let's say you even work for 5 hours. At the same time, as a single child, you come to the house. After that 5 hours, God help you, you are doing the kind of work we do. The major you understand. And you need to come to the house and start cooking again. And in the evening, you start washing the dirty clothes from yesterday. How would you rest? Would you be able to go 100% to your work in the next day?
Well, let me buttress on that. And maybe after buttressing, we'll call it home with the last question. You're speaking to my life right there. I was still speaking with my sister today while we were driving to church, and we're just laughing over it. And I said, one strategic thing I appreciate my mom did, because I grew up in an environment where it was all mixture and fusion of private schools, public schools, and I'm a guy of many friends, so you can testify to it now. I've started this podcast, basically calling my friends and everybody. So I'm a guy of many friends. I have that kind of spirit. I flow with people, but it's also dangerous. I was prone, and as teenagers, you want to flow with the bad eggs more. So I was prone to flow with the bad eggs. But one thing my mom did, which I was always appreciate her for, is that she made sure she engaged us all. We never had a free time. You see, when I go to school, there's something they call 4 to 6 lesson. I will do 4 to 6 lessons. Saturday class, I will be there. Sunday church, they won't be there. What I mean is they don't bond you well. Do you say that in Cameroon? They don't bond you well. You know what it means when they say they don't bond you? It's a Nigerian language or English, but it's a valid threat when they say they don't bond you well in Nigeria. That means it's a very deep threat. So you have to go to church on Sunday. So now explain to me as a teenager, secondary school, where I do 4 to 6 lessons, weekly 4 to 6, and I live a distance from my house. I get home sometimes 7:30, plus or minus of traffic, and sometimes I have to wash my clothes, use towel. You know that style now. You put the clothes in a dry towel, start knocking it on the wall, and so most of the stories I always miss it. Oh, this person fought with this person. They went to the field. This one, Reverend Kuti is fighting with Egba school. I'm just always hearing it on the street. I was never involved. Then gradually, what you engage your child with, you see, God, this God is a very, very superb God. You see, those times I will be copying notes, and maybe sometimes I'll wait for my sister. My sister also does 4 to 6 lessons. So maybe sometimes I close earlier, I'll wait for her. I write my notes, I'll do that. Those are the moments when those things have been dropped into my subconscious mind, where there's no way when everything they've been telling you from Monday to Saturday is all about education. And one day, even if you have coconut egg, one day that coconut egg will not crack and that thing will not enter and say, what is government? You know, because it has been repeated. You sleep in government, you dream in all these things. And when my colleagues in the area started asking, how did you become a genius? How did you become brilliant? I said, I came home and I told my mom that, Mom, I've been made the senior prefect of my school. Do you know what my mom said? Shoma, wait, what it means is that, are you that brilliant? So even me, I can testify to you. That's the miracle God gave me. Those things just cracked the coconut and started coming in, the ideas and everything, because it was a massive engagement, bro. And I was extremely playful. Massive bombardment. And that is one thing I'll tell you to do with your boys. And I'm saying it to all and sundry. Whether you are together or single. Boys have a period, and those teenage period, even girls, they want to express. That's time we started discovering we have broad chest, our voice is getting deeper, and we have these. We want to connect to, we want to do almost yes, mustache, beard. We start finding some little something here, and you won't tell your mom. You want to share with your friend and everything. Those are the moments you want to try stuff out. And you have to take them out of the league and engage them with something else. You cannot keep them in the house. And the only way you can be satisfied is to engage them in something. And it happened to Ben Carson too. The mother took away watching vain TV programs and replaced it with them going to library, and look at what their life turned out to be. You have to replace it with something. Replace it with something. So I would say that the best way is to engage them. And if you are lucky enough, you have a legacy like the Monzano, involve them. See, engaged, involve. There's no two way around this. So you have to engage and involve them. And most of these, I see them Davido, them likes of Okoya, like they involve their children. And that's why you see Raheem saying that he's still doing night to shopping. Is that's company, right? Because the dad had made it clear that you don't work, you don't get paid. There's no monthly stipend. And you see Dangote's children now, they're the one heading each department. One is heading Dangote Sugar. You have to involve. You see the Monzion movie kids now, all of them are involved in the Monzion, right? Because that is when you pass the baton of your legacy to them. So engage, involve, trust me. And the third thing that can make your child a genius, and my mom did a good job in orientating us, is that a human being created this. Look, it took my mind from consumer mindset. That's why I'm not scared if someone is laughing at me. I started Street at Cathedral. Yes, I know that some people are destined and positioned to always laugh at doers. They don't do it, they don't get anything done in their life. But my mom will always tell me, do you know even this TV we are watching, somebody created it? Not to talk about the movie we are watching, that thing that is entertaining you. So, right for my kid, I've been sitting down and I've been questioning, okay, I know that all this cartoon that is exciting me, and human being created it. So I've always been asking, Mommy, how did they create it? My mom does not have answer. She doesn't know how they got it created, but she has made me know that everything around me. She didn't let me know that God created it. She said God created trees, but God gave us the power to create a chair out of that tree. So it is our imagination, creativity that will create the chair out of the tree. So if you can infuse that to your kids, I promise you have automated them to a life of leadership, because they will not start questioning things that, okay, Dad, even if you don't have the right answers, that now, thank God for Google, you can sit down with them and study and say, okay, let us find it out together. You can study YouTube together, and they will see and say, oh, this is how cartoon is created. And before you know it, something will drop in their mind. Everything. So they move from the consumer mindset. Even the car, even when people are now bragging about luxury. And I told my wife recently, I said, do you know I watch movie differently? People watch movie from but when that girl is about to die. I'm watching the camera angle, Baba. You know you're a journalist. I'm watching the camera angle. I'm watching the scripting. I'm watching the story. I'm watching the lighting. I'm watching the girl. I know it is fake. So I know it's fake. I know they are created. So in my own head, I'm like, wow, I love the lightning. So my wife would be like, it's not even the lightning. The story, no, it's you are buying the story. Me, I'm a story writer. I'm creating stories too. But I'm looking at the way they have been able to make you believe that would change it. And most people that are even in complete marriage, they don't infuse all these things in their child. What they infuse is, they will be praying. You will be better than your mate. You'll be 10 times better than your equal. You lead. How will you be better? You change their orientation. If you can change his mindset, they will lead the world. So, and most of them don't want to be laughed at. When you start something that is meaningful, consistency too, people will laugh at you. And those people that will laugh at you, many a times, they'll still come back and be proud of you. Hey, I know that you make it from the day one. Baba, from day one, you were laughing. I didn't forget. So let us round this up. And I want you to round it up with, what do you see in the future about this popular culture versus African idea? Do you think people will get walking into this African mentality, African idea, and say, we need to go back home? Or are there also benefits of popular culture? So yeah, let's call it from there. Actually, jump in.
Okay, to me, I think that this popular culture, it might not, and it just depends on us. It starts with us. if we are able to maybe say instill in the upcoming generation the values that our culture holds, I think maybe say them growing up knowing that this is where I come from, this is what I am supposed to be seen as, this is what I represent. And like the other person said, that even the Bible makes it clear that you should bring up a child in such a way that when he or she grows up, they will not depart from it. If we're able to bring up our kids, making them understand our cultures and the importance of that culture, I don't think it's going to disappear. But aside that, I like you even said that many people don't want to go back home to learn, because it also has a lot to do with going back home, going back to the original land, to the motherland, to be able to learn what is there, raw material from there. If we're not able to maybe say let the kids go back home to learn from there as well, why we try as parents to teach them wherever we are, it's going to be very difficult. Looking at how the world is evolving and how things are rapidly changing with the use of social media, AI, and all that, it will be very difficult.
Oh, thank you very much. Mr. Akindele Mathews, what do you think?
Say is that because if you look at it and in the way, if you have an holistic look at what is going around you, you will be perplexed and be overwhelmed by the way the moral decadency that is in the world right now, and you will want to say, I don't think it can ever get better. But I tell you this, that in the spirit of togetherness and self-determination, Pan-Africanism, yeah, thank God you are a Pan-African. You know, we fought for freedom with our unity. It cannot be done with just one body. And we have people who are coming up now speaking. The likes of Fela have been doing it for a long time. The likes of all those people have been doing it for a long time. The son, Seun Kuti, is doing it
Yeah.
right now. VDM, yeah. We have quite a lot of people. I've seen quite a lot of people also on social media, TikTok, and I've seen quite a lot of Americans too, talking about the values and cultural value. And I tell you this, based on the research that I've been doing, which was established in what happened recently when VDM was away from GT. See what happened? What happened was that those people did the way the media system was, the way people have, how we perceive it and see that people don't believe in the truth and all that. Don't worry, when we carry him, nobody will even care about him. But when they carried him, God have mercy, they can never do that anymore, and they make the guy more powerful, and that is going to stem from that. I believe that at a point, we are not built the way we are built as Africans. We are not built to believe in lies for a long time. At some point, one in Tabarajo, that is, no matter how long you stay in the exile,
You're still going back home.
I think it's going to call you back.
Hmm.
And it's not only Africans. Look at the people we're living with here. They can't sustain, they can't live elsewhere. Even when they go for some go do whatever they do outside, they come back.
Hmm.
That's the same way we are built. At some point, which is a very, very near future, people are already getting it. And I believe that all those things that have been eroded, all this culture that have been trampled upon, people will see the light. Because at some point, when you lie, you have to put another lie to make it, and you lie, put another lie.
Yeah.
At some point, they will see the air flow, and everyone will see the nyash of the fowl. And at that point, everybody will come home, which I know is happening right now. So I want to believe to everybody listening that as we take care of our words, and our words also take care of their own, this thing will be properly propagated. Nobody is inciting anybody to violence to do whatever, but you are only trying to say that we need to embrace our culture. We need to be ourselves. That's the right word. Be yourself, not somebody else. Teach your child to be themselves and not somebody
Yeah.
else. See, the reason why I don't watch, that's why I'm so happy to hear you that your play is going to. People see those plays as boring. They want to, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that your play, you understand, but
Yeah.
when you sit down, you don't know the worth for you to sit down in a theater and see people act live. You see the what? You see the what? You see everything there. You see how those things are put to place. But what do they like to watch now? They like to watch lies. All the
Yeah,
stories,
TikTok live.
all the stories on Nollywood. They are one film, Mission Impossible, that has been turned to Nigeria, and you see us try to do the same thing.
Well, amazing people too. I will use this time to give big shout out to because me say I look for. I have people I look forward to. Big shout out to Kunya Folayo. Big shout out to Ibrahim Chata. Big shout out to Femi Adebayo. Big shout out to Bodolade Adekola. Big shout out to Funke Akindele. I said the day I see Funke Akindele, I will hold her feet like this. Say, Mama, you leave until you bless me. I have a lot of people.
The
Yeah,
Meji.
I love Funke Akindele so much.
Tunde,
Because Funke Akindele's career.
Tunde Kelani, you need to mention.
I know Elder Tunde Kelani. I have him on my WhatsApp. We talk.
That's what I'm saying. You can't.
Now, like
all
biggest leave.
Now, all those people that you have
You know,
mentioned,
so
look at their movies. Look at the one that is not deeply rooted in our culture.
Tadeo Gidon. Yes, all these. I pray I miss them someday now. But I really I love these guys.
Yeah.
Adekola, I love them. You know, these guys are really
Shola
these guys are
Shola Amodu. Those are great producers.
Yeah. These guys are really, you know, but we'll get there because God has actually blessed me. The person who is a project lead right now has won 2 AVCA, and I'm on a good book.
Right.
She's a very good friend of mine. God just blesses me with people like that, and I know the value of relationship. That's me. I'm always careful of stepping into people's lives, but I love people more than money. I love people more than money. That's me. Because people can naturally make things happen more than money. As a matter of fact, people, when they make things happen for you, you just have to fear God. Fear God.
I will end this with my saying, which corroborates what you have just said now. I always say it anywhere I find myself, is that the greatest investment you can do in life, is not investment in another person. An investor wants to reap you.
Yeah.
That is just the bottom line. But the greatest investment you can do in life is to invest in another human being.
I believe.
I swear, if you do, I was a teacher for 3 years. I tell you, those are the best moments of my life. You know the reason why? It was not when I was teaching. I find it very difficult to make lesson notes but thank God, it's what we need to do. We did it well, and those kids are successful today. Now, it's the greatest moment of my life comes when those children are now somebody in the society. When they call me and they talk to me, I feel so blessed.
And me too. I feel most people who know me, either my friends, people who know my story, people who have taught me, one way or the other, they will be so proud to say I'm part of this guy's story at some point in time. And it's okay because I want people to own my story. Even if my whole area are saying, Papa used to be my boy, he used to eat it, and even if it's not true. But the idea is that let people own your story. You know, it's a blessing. If people are saying, whiskey, let me give a clothes, Baba, let them own your story. If that will make everybody have this sense of importance, let them own your story. Anyways, let us call this home, and let me especially thank you. Fidelis he sent me a message though that he had to be, somewhere important. So I want to especially appreciate both of you. You guys have been so amazing. I thank you for all the depth you brought into this conversation. You made it worthwhile. I am going to edit this. I'll post it on Spotify. It will be on YouTube. It will be on Amazon Prime. It will be on Apple Podcasts. Actually, you can be proud now to say you've blown. Go and price the palace. Go and price the palace of Canada now and tell them that you're coming to buy it. and I will send you guys a link. I really,
Okay.
really appreciate you. Thank you for sparing your time to answer. I know you guys are busy people, family people. I do not take it for granted. Believe me, I appreciate you so, so much, and God will bless you. I'll be in touch with you guys. And those that were able to join, big shout out to you. I can see you, Junior. I can see you, Langs, my guy, Abdul. I can see you, Dotson Peter. Yeah, yeah. There's a name I call him. But there's a family, but I'll remember. That's my best friend from Jersey. I can see you for like, I can see you cartoon. I can see you a lot of beautiful people, beautiful people. And thank you. Next week we're going to have an interesting session, but there will be a time during the time my play will be staged and during some time that this program will be suspended. Not because I don't want to join anymore, but because there are some things I need to put in place to make sure things I need to supervise are, very successful. And this might be, I wouldn't like to not to give deep topics and not to give my guests proper attention. So that being said, thank you very much for your time. We'll meet next week on another very deep topic. And like I said, 5th of June, Oniluo is coming to state. Stay tuned for the details. And thank you. Guys, thank you. And have a lovely week ahead of you.
Enjoy
Ashley
your.
Mama. Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers.
Take care.
Yeah.